So when I was a kid, I was a notoriously bad sport when it came to board games. And I think the reason why is that I was always an older sister. So I was used to beating the snot out of my little sister, Mindy, in other games of my own devising. So, we used to play games like, who can jump farther? Me, I win. Or like, oh, who can touch this spot up here? Not you, Mindy. I win. Or like we'd be racing bikes and, poor Mindy was still learning how to ride a bike, so I win. It was great. I was on fire. The thing with board games, though, is that there are rules, you know this, that are established to create a level playing field. So one day, I was playing the board game Clue with my sister, Mindy, and I had my notebook paper out, and I had eliminated all of the suspects except for Mrs. White, and I eliminated all of the weapons except for the candlestick, so I knew it was Mrs. White. I knew she had used the candlestick, but I still had to figure out where the murder took place. So on my next turn, I moved my game piece to the conservatory. But this was a crucial misstep because I forgot that I had already been to the conservatory and that I had already eliminated the conservatory, so this was basically a wasted move. That was all the time that little Mindy needed to piece together the puzzle, solve the murder, and win the game. What? No. The only reason she won the game was because I made a mistake. That's not fair. So, as an older sister and a moral guide, I sat my sister down and I explained that we would have to replay the game because the one that she won didn't count. And she said no. And so I kept insisting that we replay the game, and she kept refusing. And so I got madder and madder and madder, but I couldn't hit her, and I couldn't throw anything because I was kind of on tantrum watch with my mom because I was a notoriously bad sport at these things. So instead, I stood up, and I took the notebook paper that I'd been using, and I ripped it into little pieces. And I thrust these pieces into Mindy's face, and I said, "Do you see this paper? Well, I'm gonna hold on to it. And someday, when you least expect it, when you're not looking, I'm gonna put it in your food, Mindy." Yeah. I was going to poison my sister with paper, somehow. And in my devious little brain, I was already thinking a couple steps ahead, because then I said, and you better not tell Mom, because if you tell Mom, I'm going to tell her that you're making it up. Checkmate. Perfect plan. For years afterwards, really, for years, every time that our family sat down to the dinner table, we'd say our prayers, and we'd start to eat, and Mindy always started to eat by screening her food for these diabolical bits of paper that were supposedly in there. This was smart defense on Mindy's part, because she could tell that day that we played Clue that I was serious. And I was. I fully intended on murdering Mindy. The thing is, I forgot. By the next day, it was totally forgotten. I moved on to other things. I don't even know what happened to the paper, actually. So the interesting thing here is that board games are really instructional this way because, as a kid, the temptation is to associate dominance with size, But board games teach us that skill is important as well. And when it comes to murder, whether you are investigating a murder or perpetrating one, the important skill is memory. So, if you've been to the conservatory, you don't go back to the conservatory. And if you threaten to kill your sister, you follow through. So thank you, Hasbro, for that lesson.